Welcome to The Polished Mind, where subtle behaviors reveal powerful truths. Let's dive in. There's an intriguing link between digital habits and the human psyche. One behavior that often goes unnoticed is the act of compulsively rereading old messages. While it might appear to be just a harmless habit, it can reveal a great deal about certain personality traits. This doesn't mean that simply glancing back at an old message signals deep emotional layers, but for those who find themselves frequently revisiting past conversations, there may be more going on beneath the surface. In this article, we'll explore 7 psychological traits commonly observed in individuals who often scroll back through their message history. It's fascinating how our online behaviors mirror our internal world. Let's take a closer look at what this particular habit might reveal about a person's inner self. Number 1. Insecurity holders. Some people, reread messages not out of curiosity but out of self-doubt. They worry about how they came across, whether their tone was misunderstood or if their message was well received. This type of behavior often points to underlying insecurities. These individuals tend to overthink their words after the conversation has ended. They replay dialogues in their minds, scanning for mistakes or signs of miscommunication. Recognizing this can be the first step toward self-growth. Occasional self-doubt is normal. However, when it leads to compulsively reviewing conversations for approval or reassurance, it might reflect deeper emotional insecurities. Becoming aware of this pattern is a crucial part of building inner confidence. Number 2. Overanalyzers. There are those who will, dissect a single sentence repeatedly, studying the choice of words, punctuation, even the timing of the reply. This is typical behavior of an overanalyzer. Someone once shared their experience of watching a close friend spend hours reading the same few messages, looking for clues in tone and hidden meanings. The friend believed that every element of a message held intentional depth. Eventually, that same friend learned a valuable lesson. Not everything needs decoding. Sometimes, a message means exactly what it says. Over time, they began to accept things at face value, instead of reading between lines that were never drawn. Number 3. Nostalgia seekers. Psychologists have long studied our emotional connection to the past. One of the most evident examples is the nostalgia seeker, someone who often rereads old messages to relive cherished moments. For such individuals, scrolling through old texts brings comfort and helps preserve a sense of identity. It's kind of like flipping through a digital photo album that reminds them of who they were, where they've been, and what they've felt. However, as comforting as nostalgia can be, it also holds the risk of trapping people in the past. It's important to maintain a healthy balance, treasuring memories while remaining fully engaged with the present. Next time you find yourself scrolling through old messages, just take a moment to reflect. It could provide an interesting insight into your inner psyche. Number 4. Attachment seekers. These individuals tend to revisit messages from specific people, usually a romantic partner, close friend, or family member. For attachment seekers, this habit is about maintaining an emotional connection in moments of physical separation. A psychological study by the University of California, Berkeley, revealed that people are more likely to keep and reread messages from those they feel emotionally bonded with. These texts become digital keepsakes, symbols of love, security, and familiarity. Although this behavior reflects warmth and closeness, it's important to build relationships that thrive in real time, not just through archived conversations. Number 5. Pattern finders. Some people are naturally analytical. Pattern finders are those who reread messages in search of behavioral clues, emotional trends, or repeated communication styles. A psychologist once described how a client would go through months of chats to determine whether a friend's interest was fading. For them, rereading was a way to decode intentions through recurring phrases, emotional shifts, or sudden silences. Psychologist Carl Jung once said, The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Pattern finders live by this logic, believing that recognizing patterns improves understanding and deepens relationships. So, if you find yourself rereading old messages to decipher patterns or trends, it's a wonderful trait to have. Being observant and analytical can indeed lead to more profound connections. Number 6, future predictors. It may seem kind of counterintuitive, but some people reread messages not because they're stuck in the past, but because they're actually trying to predict the future. These future predictors believe that by reviewing past conversations, they can anticipate someone's next move or attitude. They use old chats almost like a reference book, looking for cause and effect in relationships. For example, if a person once grew distant after a certain phrase or tone, the future predictor just logs it in memory as a warning sign for next time. While this approach can definitely be strategic, it's important to remember that human behavior isn't always predictable. It's wise to learn from past patterns, but also, essential to remain open to spontaneity and change. Number 7, emotional regulators. Lastly, some people reread messages not for analysis, not for nostalgia, but for emotional regulation. During emotionally intense moments, they turn to old conversations to calm themselves, gain perspective, or feel understood. A young man once mentioned that his sister would scroll through old encouraging messages when she felt anxious. Those texts helped her ground herself emotionally and regain balance. Psychologist Daniel Goleman once said, "Emotional self-control is the result of hard work, not an inherent skill." Emotional regulators show us that even in our digital history, we can find tools for managing our present emotions. Final thoughts. Human psychology is a beautiful mosaic of habits, emotions, and thoughts. What may seem like a small behavior, like rereading messages, can actually serve as a mirror to our innermost traits. Whether you're an emotional regulator, a pattern seeker, or maybe a nostalgia lover, your habit of revisiting old messages is not meaningless. It may actually reveal your need for connection, clarity, control, or comfort. Take some time to reflect on your own patterns. What are your messages telling you, not just in content but in behavior? Self-awareness is really the first step toward emotional intelligence. Our digital habits are not separate from who we are, they're extensions of us, and in every scroll and reread there's just a little more of our inner world being revealed. So, next time you find yourself reading through a conversation from months ago, just pause for a second. You just might uncover a part of yourself you hadn't noticed before. And hey, please subscribe, like, and share this video if you like it, so that others can see it too.